What's up everyone, this is Graffiti Tutorials, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a few different ways on how you can get better can control. I'm going to give you a few different tips. We're going to use some different high and low pressured paints and some different fat and skinny caps, and I'm going to show you some of the techniques that I use to get better can control. And so before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and thanks to everyone who has. Right, now these tips that I'm about to give, they're going to help you improve. They're not going to make you great at can control straight away, because good can control comes with practice. And I know some of you hate to hear that because it's going to take a long time, but using these tips that I'm about to give you, it's going to make it a quicker, easier process, and you probably will see improvement straight away. Right, so my first tip, the most important thing, is just to use a low pressure skinny sort of cap. Now one that I'd recommend is the gold skinny cap that comes on the Montana Gold can, but I can also recommend the grey dot skinny cap. They're the ones that I use. There is other ones, but just make sure it's a skinny cap, because if you're using a fat cap, then that's automatically going to make it harder to get better can control. And also use a low pressure paint. I've got a can of Montana Gold here, but there's lots of low pressure paints out there. This is probably the most expensive one, so just go and look for a low pressure paint and a low pressure soft skinny cap, okay, because that is instantly just going to make it easier for you to get better can control. Because some of you might be buying high pressure paints like Montana Black or something like that, and they come with a fat cap on, and you're probably using it thinking, how the heck do these guys get skinny lines and no drips and stuff like that? So that's probably where your problem lies. But if you're using low pressure paint already, then that's a start. And here's another tip as well. If you just put your finger right on the back of the cap there, instead of putting your finger on the cap like you normally do, when I want to get little skinny details, I just rest my finger right on the back of the cap and just sort of bounce it on there, and you can get really nice skinny lines like that. And angle the can in, and you can see it's scraping the paint off because I just painted this, but if you angle the can in towards your surface, then you're going to get a really nice skinny line, and this is perfect for getting little details on your piece. Right, another tip, this is one of the main tips as well, is just having movement in your legs when you're doing an outline and stuff like that. When you want to get something precise, instead of just going like this with your arm, because you're just a bit limited like this, your movement's a bit limited. If you move down with your legs as well and just sort of keep your arms still, okay, and just move your body. So say if you're outlining something, just move along with it. You'll get a lot smoother movement than if you're just going like this, you know what I mean? Because you go along with it and you keep the line the same thickness all the time. If I make that shape just standing here like this, then you can see it flares out at the end. But if I move along with it, then it's a lot nicer. Another tip is put your can in the fridge or freezer, okay? This is even if it's a high pressure paint or if it's a hot day, because when the paint heats up, it gets really thin and then it comes out at a higher pressure. So it's going to cause more drips and stuff like that, okay? So if you go and put it in the fridge or the freezer, it's going to cool the paint right down and thicken it up, and it's going to make it lower pressure. The only bad thing about that is it's going to make it spit a lot more because it's thicker. It's going to clog up your caps quicker, but it does still make it more low pressure. I actually used to go and, when I'd done a commission, I used to ask the person just to put that outline colour in the fridge and they used to look at me funny, but I've had experiences where I've been in someone's house, it's really hot, and then when I come to doing the outline on the piece that I'm painting, the outline colour's gone really high pressure, and then I've struggled to get it nice and I've had to cut it back loads, when if I would have just put it in the fridge, then I might have a few splatters to clean up, but I haven't got loads of drips and stuff like that. So yeah, stick your can in the fridge or freezer. Another tip to paint a nice straight line is just to move a bit faster. Now if you just stand there and paint like this, the slower you go, the more shaky you're going to be and stuff. Like, I'm not exaggerating that, that's literally me trying to paint a straight line. Okay, so if I move fast and just drop down with my legs, then you get a lot straighter, cleaner line. Okay, So when doing your outlines and stuff, just make sure you move nice and fast instead of sketching it in little bits like this around your letter or whatever. Just literally move nice and quick and you'll get a nice clean sharp line. Right, and this last tip is not necessarily a can control tip, but it's stopping the bad effects of bad can control. Okay, so if you're just about to get a drip, it's as simple as this. Instead of spraying it and letting it drip, just spray it and just blow it straight away. I didn't get that one quick enough, but sometimes you can see a build up of paint where it's literally just about to drip. You can see there's a bit of an edge on the bottom of that. That would have dripped down if I didn't blow it. Sometimes you might need to blow it a couple of times, but you can see it's still dripping a little bit, but if you catch it fast enough, then it's going to stop it dripping. You can see I blew that bit and I didn't blow that bit, and it's much more drippy. Right, now I've got a can of Cobra here, which is a higher pressure paint, okay? So if you use a nice soft skinny cap, then you can even get nice skinny lines and good can control with a higher pressure can as well. But you'll see the difference when you use a fat cap. So this is what I mean by it's all in the cap. If I use a fat cap with the Montana Gold, it still comes out pretty fat. It's a bit easier to control. But if I use this fat cap and a higher pressure paint, then you're going to have a lot of a harder time with it, okay? Now you can see the difference. I know this line's a bit drippy, but you can get nice sharp lines still with the lower pressure paint and a fat cap. It's easier to do so with a lower pressure paint than it is a higher pressure paint with a fat cap on. And you can see it splatters everywhere. There's loads of overspray as well. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and that you got some tips that are going to help you out. But the main tip out of all of those is that you should be using a low pressure paint, because that is ultimately the thing which is going to make your painting experience a lot more simple and easier. I've got a few low pressure paints here to show you, just so that it can help you out on what to get. Some of them I haven't used, this one I haven't used. This is Cobra low pressure. We've got Dope, which is, I haven't really used it either, but it's listed down as low pressure on here, so I'm guessing it's low pressure. Montana Gold, like we was using on the video, this is one of the best ones. Also, another one of the best ones in my opinion is Montana 94, that's another low pressure paint. We've got Molotow Belton, which is pretty low pressure as well. That's a decent paint. That was what I started out painting with when I was first started. And Luke as well. This is also a low pressure paint, but it can spit quite a bit, so watch out for that. But there's a few low pressure paints you can use. If you have been using a high pressure paint, then that's probably a good thing, because that's the reason you've been struggling, and now when you switch to a low pressure paint, you're going to find it a lot easier. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you didn't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.